It's 2023. We need to start thinking generational wealth. It's time to start thinking further ahead. How do I build generational wealth in 2023? These are active strategies that you can utilize right now. I have three, just three. Keep it simple, keep it short. You know that's how I do things. Three strategies on how you can build generational wealth starting today in 2023. First strategy, guys, is invest in whole life insurance. For those of you who don't know what whole life insurance is, it's just a life insurance plan that covers from the moment you get it until the day you die. It doesn't have a term. I'm not talking term. Big, big emphasis here. No term life insurance. Not useful, not beneficial. Yes, it is cheaper, but it's not the best way to go. Best way to go is whole life insurance. That's what I recommend. With whole life insurance, you get a savings account. With this savings account, you can invest your money into the savings account and potentially receive 4 to 6% interest rate every year on the money that you have in that savings account. So that's much better. For those of you who are not financially savvy, that's much, much better than what your bank account is giving you right now. You're potentially getting somewhere between, I want to say, 0 point something percent to like 1%. That's most likely what you're getting in your savings account as of today. But with whole life insurance, you can potentially get 4 to 6%. So that's 4 to 6 times more than what you're getting right now with a whole life insurance plan. They have their own savings account that you can put your money into. And not only that, after you do pass, if you get a plan, let's say you're a working professional and your budget allows for you to get a $5 million plan, $2 million plan, $10 million plan, whatever you can afford, whatever your budget allows you to get. If you get a $5, $10 million plan, when you die, your kids will not only get the money that's left in your savings account, if there's any left, but they also get that $5 to $10 million, which is tax free. Let's say it again, tax free, meaning Uncle Sam is not getting any piece of that. That's all to your kids, straight to their bank account. So that's giving them much more money than I'm assuming your parents probably left you. That's an assumption, may not be true. So that's definitely a way that you can build generational wealth. And while you have this money in the life insurance, you can also borrow against it. So let's say you have 20,000 in your savings account, or 100,000 or 200,000. You can borrow against that. So you can take out $5,000 to buy a new car, to put as a down payment on a property, and yet you can still keep the 20,000 that you have in the bank account, and it's still getting that interest rate because you're essentially borrowing against it while it's still left in the savings account that you have with your life insurance. And all you have to do is pay it back eventually. Or if you choose not to pay it back, you don't have to. And essentially what you're doing is you're borrowing against your actual plan. So if you have $1 million, they're going to take that away when they're giving that money to your children, that $5,000 that you borrowed against it. But if you do have some money left in the savings, they'll just take it out of the savings and give your kids whatever's left plus the actual plan. So that's a great way to build generational wealth. Second strategy, guys, buy real estate. I'm a real estate investor. You guys already know this. That's my bread and butter. That's what I do. That's what I love. Buy real estate. Real estate is something that gains value over time. And the more time you spend owning a property, the more it's worth. Let me give you a quick example. My mother bought a house in 2017. It was worth about 240 something thousand dollars when she bought it. Now in 2023, you want to know how much that property is worth? You want to know? $450,000. It more than doubled its value in the space of what 6 years or so? It more than doubled its value. And she did nothing to it. She didn't add anything. She didn't change anything. She just lived in the property. That's equity. So when you buy real estate, imagine you leave this property for 20 years and you upkeep the property, you maintain it. Imagine what it's going to be worth 20 years later. So this is the type of power you have with real estate. Imagine you have 1, 2, 3, 5, 15 properties. Imagine the equity you can potentially gain on each of these properties, and leave them to your children, and your children sell them. They don't have to pay capital gains tax. So capital gains tax is when you sell a property and then you have to pay a tax based on how much profit you made on the property. Your kids don't have to do that once you pass it on to them. They essentially don't have to pay any tax towards that sell when they sell it. So that's a key method. That's a key way to build generational wealth. And when you have these properties, don't just keep them vacant. Obviously, put some tenants in there so that you can help you pay the mortgage, so that maybe the tenant can pay for the entire mortgage and you can even potentially make a little bit of profit for yourself every month. That's what you want to do. That's a great way to build generational wealth. Third plan, you want to invest in stocks. And once again, I will always recommend S&P 500 stocks. Go for tech, healthcare, communication, entertainment. Go for that stuff. Once again, I can list at the bottom some of the best stocks that I recommend you purchase. Let me give you a quick example. Imagine if you purchased $10,000 worth of Apple in the year 2000. At that time, Apple was, I want to say, somewhere around 93 cents a share. Imagine how much money you would have now in 2023, 23 years later, had you left just $10,000, not putting any more money, not even taking into consideration the dividends. Dividends is the money that they pay every quarter or every month, depending on what the stock offers. They pay you a little bit of money for the money that you have invested. So not even calculating that you might have reinvested your dividend, you might have put more money into the stock. If had you just had $10,000 in Apple in 2000, right now in 2023, you would have $1.9 million worth of shares in Apple. 23 years later, $1.9 million. Tell me what savings account would offer that. Go ahead, I'm waiting. Put it in the comment if you know one. I don't think so. There's no savings account that's gonna offer you that type of return. So once again, invest in the S&P 500 companies. Invest in the biggest companies that show the best returns. And when you invest that money, just leave it there. Create a plan. Maybe you invest every month. Maybe you invest once a year. Whatever you can afford. Create a plan, invest in those, and then just leave it over time. And watch how much money you gain over time. And when you die, when you pass away, or maybe if you just retire and you just want to pass that wealth to your children, that's the type of power you have when you invest. So I recommend invest. And like always, comment, like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.